Was it let the band finish? Come on, guys. Come on. 6:31. Let's go. Come on. There we go. Let's go. Come on. Nice. There we go. Yeah. All right. Good morning. Good morning, New Jersey. Welcome to the big broadcast, little special episode here on a Wednesday. Usually we're on Tuesday mornings, but the weather is going kind of downhill here. It's been downhill for the last 12 hours or so from last night, but we're going to get some more detail of potentially some of this heavy rain. There he is, the G-Man. You know him, you love him. There he is. Very good to see you, bud.
All right.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to be here, my friend.
Yes. So let's, I'm going to open up the comments right away. So we had a little trouble yesterday. Let's see here if we can hear. So my friend Alexander says, good morning from East Rutherford.
Love it.
Heading to our office in Teaneck. Can you hear us? I'm assuming we can. So let's cross our fingers that that's the case. Let's see what she says. But anyway, so you were saying last night you had some heavy rain that you heard. I didn't hear anything. I was
a little rain, little wind. Yeah. You know, we got 2 inches. Right. 2 inches on the way. Yep. You know, yesterday, conferring with my weather team at NBC 10. So if you watched local news yesterday, particularly, you know, whether it be WNBC in New York or NBC 10 in Philly, you know, we go what we call first alert in these events, and the banners and the graphics you see no longer are blue in background or banners, they're red. So the colors changed red. Okay. We changed them to red for first alert. So
nice.
So we decided yesterday to go first alert for this event. So I think a lot of TV stations are probably doing that.
Cool.
In some form or fashion. However they do that, you know, kind of go to their severe mode, you know.
Right. Very good. Yep. Cool. We've got confirmation. We have audio. So
we have audio. Audio is the sound. As we say in Espanol, audio es el sonido.
What? You lost me on that one. I don't know.
Audio is the sound.
That's it. I think. Is this the applause one? Tell me. Do you hear anything?
Yeah.
Is that applause?
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
Only 26 episodes in, we figured it out.
No, it's always been there, but I never labeled it. But anyway, so we're able to hear audio, which is great.
On a job.
Yes. Excellent. So Alexander says she can hear us. Yes.
I can hear you.
There it is. And Eddie here. Good morning from Freehold Township. Very, very nice. All right. It helps when we have audio. Although it's kind of crazy that the stuff that we did, I just didn't take it down from the channel. There's no audio on it, but it got like 100 views. I'm like, I'm just going to leave it.
You're such a handsome fella. People would just tune
in
to see you. I guess
that's what it is. That's what it is. Know, that's right. Well, speaking of
Hawaiian shirt, you know.
That's what it is. Hawaiian shirt is selling it. Absolutely. Well, so we have our special guest waiting in the green room here. Let's bring him on. There he is. Connell, and there he is.
Hey, all right. What's better than one meteorologist? Two at the same time.
Exactly.
Can you handle it?
I don't know. Too much. Too much pressure, Rich. Too much.
Yeah, a lot going on here. We dressed the same. Me and Jimmy G. They did the same.
That's it.
He
coordinated. He's much better looking than me, though. All right. But it's great to be here. Joining the crew here on a very soggy Wednesday morning. Jimmy G, what's going on with the rain here? How we got a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, you know what? Here, let me
let's do this, guys. I will bring the G-Man stuff in, and Rich, if you want to share your stuff with me, and then we can switch over to your maps. So here's the G-Man stuff. We'll go full screen. So
look at that, Richie V. Look at that radar from the Weather Service all the way. You know, look at all the watches and warnings up in New England and you know, in the Northeast. It's interesting that, you know, the line becomes more of a squall line once it basically passes through Jersey. So up in your hizzy, Rich, you are based in Long Island. So Long Island, I think, gets schwacked, particularly Suffolk County. That line just looks worse.
Schwacked.
You know, 3-4 inches of rain in Suffolk, particularly eastern Suffolk.
Yeah, we're pouring right now outside the window. I can hear it just pattering on the the outside. So we got a pretty good shot coming in right now. But I think, you know, you're going to get it in Jersey. It's coming. It's coming, right?
Yeah, we will. I just think that line magnifies, you know, it's a marginal severe weather threat. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I actually think there's a decent thunderstorm shot, even though the Cape is not great. Some of the other metrics we use aren't great, but when that line comes together, and it's a sharp cold front, it's not one cold front, it's two. So, pretty interesting.
You got it going on. All right.
Nice. All right. So we got a lot of comments coming into the comment section. So please post up where you're watching us from, your name, and whereabouts you're watching us from here, maybe what your weather conditions are in your local location. We can put that on screen as well. Rich, I'm going to grab your maps here if you can share them with me. I'm going to fire up some of the comments. So we have Chris here, says, good morning, guys. Cedar Grove is once again tuning in. Man, I wish you two were back on our local news station. Really miss you two. Thank you so much for that. James's channel is not the same. We've got Richie coming in from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Nice.
Merry Christmas to you and happy holidays.
An area Rich and I both know well.
Yeah.
Right,
Maureen. Maureen, good morning, guys. Miss you on News 12. Hope you have a great day. Same thing to you, Maureen. All right, Rich, let me bring in your maps here. We go full screen. We take the comments down, and I guess I'll let you drive here for a minute or two. Go ahead.
All right, you got my stuff. So good morning here, Wednesday, December 11th. Hey, it's December. It's, meteorological winter, as we call it, but, it's kind of rainy. I just want to share something, too, yesterday. It's kind of a sad day for me. I don't know if everybody knows me pretty well. Jimmy does. I'm a big boater, big fishing guy. I love it. This is south of the Rockaways. I was actually out there on my boat, even late in the season, trying to get those last bass, taking a little bit of ride, and had the mask on, everything like that, ready, the ninja. Yeah, but
the traffic and weather hat too,
and the old school hat. I think Don's got one of those. Yeah, so,
I got about 10 of them in the closet.
So came back into Atlantic Beach. A little sad day, but season's kind of over now. It's December. I love it all year round. But now we're getting into winter. Of course, you and I here, we're going to talk more about the it's crazy weather. It's still kind of in a drought here. We talked about it the other day about how most of New Jersey still in that red, that extreme drought. Jimmy G, we still got that going on. Still severe drought north, even with all this rain coming down. And hopefully it helps a little bit. We'll get this new report. It's tomorrow, right? James comes in at Thursday. Every Thursday we get an update. So we'll see. Maybe we start to help out that situation. But, we got the wind advisory. This is the Weather Service showing the East Coast, all across the eastern coast of Jersey with the wind advisory, gust up to maybe 50 this afternoon. And according to the rain, it's going to be the wind, too. We talk about that. And you can see there, you just said in Long Island, Syosset area, East Meadow where I am, out towards Suffolk County. Look at the, lit up with yellow and orange and red, really pouring there. Little gap across Jersey for now, but you know what? That's going to change this afternoon. We talked about the atmospheric river, right?
There it is.
Big words here now.
Ooh,
right.
Fired up.
The atmospheric river. The West Coast has it. The East Coast got it. We're right down the chute there, coming right up from Florida, the Gulf Coast. And we got the wind, we got the rain, we got the mild air, though. You walk out today, it's like about, 55, 60 degrees this afternoon. So it feels more like we're back in the spring, even though it's December. If you didn't know what month it was, you'd be all confused. So we got it going on today. All right, Don loves the Futurecast. So do I. I think everybody does, because it kind of tells the story about how you plan your day here. We're dotted up with a little bit of red, little orange, little dots of green throughout midday afternoon. And look at that, Jimmy G, coming in about midday.
There we go.
Look at that. Was that about Philly, Camden County down there, right?
That's Delco. That's Montgomery County. That's Philadelphia County. That's Burlington. That's Camden County, especially. Look at that. Camden County lit up at 1 o'clock here. And those are some strong storms, I think. That's definitely a thunderstorm firing up there.
Looks that way, right? A little lightning, thunder, downpours, a little clap of thunder there, right for about midday afternoon. So if you're driving Turnpike, Jersey, Garden State Parkway, just heads up. You see that big dark cloud coming in. You get that little gap, right? See that first line goes east about 4 p.m. The last one comes in, just like a spring type pattern. Look at that squall line, Jimmy G.
Exactly. That's what I was talking about. I mean, you get that squall line that really fires up over central Long Island, maybe on the Nassau-Suffolk border, maybe by the Seaford Oyster Bay Expressway, the SOB.
Yeah.
And then fires east, right? And then fires east, and then comes together. So I think, in terms of heaviest rainfall rates and the potential for a thunderstorm, I think eastern Long Island really gets schwacked.
Yeah, they pop pretty good. Unfortunately for Jersey, it looks like we get that line. I think Don mentioned the blue stuff to the west. Yeah, that's the cold air coming in. That's the real December weather that kind of pushes this out. So this evening tonight, you got to do some holiday shopping. You got some traveling to do. It'll be a little better. It's not going to be perfect, but a little better. And then, it's not really going to snow, Don. I don't think we're talking like, something that's going to be shovelable. There may be a little sugar coating up north and west, Poconos, hill towns, but that's about it. Yeah. We need this rain. We talked about it, showing that blue area there across most of Jersey. That's maybe 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, maybe 2 1/4. So it could soak. You don't want it too heavy, too crazy, because you don't want to flood, of course. But then, I think we're good. Thursday, we're back to what December is supposed to be, right? We're about 40 degrees, something like that, windy. Oh, Lake Effect snow's back, Jimmy. Do you look at that? About Great Lakes. Yeah.
And actually, it looks like this band might actually is a little further north. So might drive a little bit of snow into downtown Buffalo and the North Town. So up towards, that section of the 90, up towards Amherst. And, as you get up towards even Rochester a little bit and may get into the act.
Yeah, probably not as nutty as that last storm.
No,
They got clocked there last time. This will not be the same situation. The winds kind of relax a little bit for Friday. You know what? This is good December weather. Thursday, a little windy, Friday, good. Saturday should be just beautiful weather. Get out and get the shopping done, head out to some of the big malls across the state.
The big malls.
The big malls. The big places. All right. Want to go long range? You want to get an idea? All right, get out of here.
Yeah, fire it up.
Looks like Saturday's good, but quiet. Now, we talked about this, this is a map that shows the United States. And, when you're in December, you typically see a lot of blue, on this map. That's the cold air. And what you don't see on this map into the weekend is a lot of blue, a little bit there across the Midwest. We're yellow across the east. That means basically 50s. Now, there's a good shot there of cold air across, Great Lakes, Michigan, Wisconsin, Green Bay, I mean, but yeah, right. But it's not, but you notice, James, it's not like all over the place.
It's not widespread.
It's like donut.
That Rex block is still sort of there, and it only deepens so much. It's very isolated. And, I'm sure as you push out, the pattern doesn't flatten out and go zonal. There it is. I mean, it deepens a little bit, but it just kind of pushes further east. And that trough, quick little shot, the trough dips a little bit here into Jersey, into Pennsylvania, barely into Virginia. And then, that's going to push out even further. There it is.
Look at this. Christmas. I mean, we're already talking about Christmas Eve. If this verifies, I mean, I know it's a long way off there, but it doesn't look cold at all, like 50 degrees, something like that. And then, there is gathering of cold air across the Midwestern states, but, it just really, really doesn't look like it's going to be anything too crazy. So, I mean, down the road, I mean, Don asked about, the long range outlook. Look at all the warmth from the Western states. We're near normal in the east. That doesn't mean real cold. I mean, you're talking, what, 50 degrees, that's nothing,
No.
Nothing
I mean,
crazy.
Again, I think that map reflects, you can't see it, but again, both of those areas of high pressure built in really on both coasts, especially on the West Coast. So you have the jet really keeping the cold air locked into Canada on the West Coast, and some variables and some slippage, if you will, into the east, but not enough to change it from above normal to normal.
Yeah, the bottom line is you're not going to be seeing blizzards, snowstorms, cold shots, ice, nothing here across New Jersey, at least until the foreseeable future. I mean, it's no big rain either, below normal with precipitation, even though we need that for the drought. Don asked about the season. This is still the nowhere. This came out November 21st. They revised it a bit, James, about the winter season. This takes us right through the end of February, and kind of keeping that same idea, a little above normal in the east, and basically near normal precipitation, which is basically
No, exactly, which is underwhelming.
Yeah,
but hey, I think the takeaway from today. Have a great day, everybody.
You can take us back here, Don. All right,
punch it up, wizard. I think the takeaway, though, if we get 2 inches of rain in spots, especially if we get an inch and a half in those areas of extreme drought, I think what we see first is you'll see those levels of extreme hopefully just get notched back a little bit, to not extreme, and we're not going to eradicate the drought, but hopefully in areas we could chip away at that area of red and make it not extreme,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, no snow blowers needed, Don. I think you can probably put that on hold for a while, at least for now. Yeah,
I'll put it back into the shed. I had a shed.
All right.
Yeah. Or if I had a snow blower, one of the two.
This one's going to take that off his Christmas list.
That's it. Take it off the Christmas list. So now, I always say that traffic and weather go together. So I'm going to bring in my map here because, again, seeing the situation where it is fairly busy out here this morning.
You called it yesterday, I mean, 6 raindrops and every jabron starts crashing cars.
Oh my goodness. Let me just take this full screen. So we've got a crash on 22. Everything is shut down in Hillside. So I'm going to check on that in a second because that's a tough spot. 80 west, the Madison Avenue Patterson lane is out there. We got 2 lanes shut down going west on 80 at Howard Boulevard, exit 30. So it's kind of coming down the hill past Route 15, right by exit 30. So there's anything good for as far as the flow of traffic, it's going the opposite way, but there's going to be a lot of folks stopping and taking a look at this. Let me just bring up the maps real quick. So, you just got to take some care, just drive a little slower out there with all of these, with this rain. Let me just see if I can bring this up. There it is. So here's the issue first on 80. This is going west here at Howard Boulevard next to 30. So east is a little bit slow out of 26 into 30, and then pushing more volume out towards the Rockaway area. And then our second issue was on 22 now, and that is going to be right in here, just past the Garden State Parkway. It's right on the Union border, just past Vauxhall Road. It's right in that location where all the car dealers are. The Toyota Honda dealer of Hillside is right in that location. You can see we're already backed up towards Morris Avenue, and the entrance coming off of exit 141 out, or actually 140, I should say, up to the exit there in Union by the Union Water Tower. So 78 is a good option this morning. Obviously, you got to pay the toll, but if you're in a hurry and you got to make work on time, that's the way to go. Or if you're heading out for a flight at Newark Liberty, take 22 off the list. Again, this is real popular for a lot of folks in Union County who kind of know this little short, it's not really a shortcut, but the freeway in order to get out towards the airport instead of taking 78. But today could be worth the extra $2 to pay it there and not sit in the delay. Hudson River Crossings, looking at the George at just about maybe 30 minutes for the upper, about 25 for the lower, about, I'd say that's the Lincoln, I'm sorry, that's about 30. This is about 25 or so, getting closer to 30 at the Holland, and the George is still in that 30-minute category. So everyone kind of leaving all at the same time. Rest of the state is in pretty decent shape here this morning. Other than a little truck lane delay here on the turnpike getting in towards interchange time at the Monmouth County, Ocean County. Rest of the southern sections of the state are in pretty good shape. Getting into James's new adopted home of Philadelphia there. A little backed up here on 55 and 42, but when is that never an issue? And then Cape May County, everything is going to be fine. So again, it's still a little bit early in the morning commute at 47. This is the reason why it's the outer roadway, the truck lanes at 9. Left lane out with a broken down vehicle. So again, like I mentioned yesterday, it's just a matter of just not driving in all this rain for a whole lot of time. So gets a little slippery out there. So we'll see how the rest of the morning commute goes. Hey, really, the afternoon is going to be a little dicey.
Yeah, it is. A quick question for you. Dizzle, I know lately driving into Philly, my GPS wanted to take me down to exit 3, which is the AC Expressway. Right. And then from 3, exit 3, do I jump on 55 or 42? I was always like, why is this thing trying to take me down to exit 3?
Let me bring up the map.
Punch it back up. I'm curious if that goes into the AC Expressway.
Let me do this.
Because you could, usually come in off 95, or there's always the Bend, there's always the Betsy Ross, areas like that. Right. So,
yeah. I don't know why it would send you that far south.
I don't know. Usually I don't do it. I just get off at 4 then. So
get off at 4. So AC Expressway is right. Well, the AC Expressway turns into 42.
Well, there you go.
So that's why it's putting you on. It's going to want to put you on 76 going across the and Franklin.
Yep.
That's why it's going to take you down that side. I mean, if you're looking to save a little cash, I would just bang out 195 to 295. It's the same road. It's going to take you to the same spot, and it's not going to cost you money.
For sure. I could do that. But I usually just take the turnpike to exit 6, which is 95 off hours. But 95 outside the city definitely backs up.
Correct.
On the
you
approach.
You come over the Pennsylvania extension, the turnpike. Down here, but this is where it gets clogged up.
That's where in
the North Philly.
Yep, exactly. That's where it clogs up. So if you could come in a little bit later, whether it be coming in off the bit, you would avoid 95 coming in off the Bend. Correct. Or Betsy Ross, you clip the last little bit of 95.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Let me bring us back in here. I got to close the maps out because it's just taking up a little bit too much memory at this point. I'm going to close out of this as well.
We're going to have a memory counter on Dizzle's computer.
No, I know. It's time for the new one, but we're almost there. Let's see.
Come here with the Salvation Army kettle for Dizzle's computer.
Exactly. We've got Butler saying, Rebecca, good morning. Hoping weather clears up for travel. Doesn't look like it's going to be for most of the day. Sally says, hi, James. We've got Diane from New Providence. Good morning to you all. We've got Meg checking in here. Good morning. And Linda also says, good morning. So we got some people watching here this morning. Yep. Again, hit us up on YouTube. Let's get us to the 800 mark. We're almost there. We're almost there. I think we're at 799 or something like that.
Come on. And we didn't really promote it, after the false start yesterday, and our audio issues. So we just wanted to jump back on A, for the weather, and B, make sure that, we're running. We're running well. And we address the issue and firing on all cylinders.
Absolutely.
So and with our man, Richie V, we gave him,
another shot. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Second time's the charm here. I love it. Yeah. I'm having a great time. It's all good.
So let's just come off of weather for a second, which kind of rolls in potentially weather really affects everything. But it's this whole thing with the drones coming over New Jersey. It'd be interesting to see if anything is up today or whatever with the weather, because to my mind, that would indicate maybe some sort of a military type situation that they're able to fly. I mean, we're not talking drones that are, a DJI that's used for, news gathering or something like that. These are much larger than that. And again, I'm not saying these are not drones, but I feel like some folks, when they look up in the sky, they could see a helicopter. I understand hearing things, whatever, but some who are not tuned into that world or whatever could think it's a drone. I don't know. Having a car-sized type drone is a fairly large object in the sky, and it seems like these things are always at night. It's like UFOs. It's like everything is always at night. Why isn't it like on a blue sky day when it's 73 with no wind and somebody's got a decent shot of it? It's always somebody on a cell phone camera. You can barely make out what the hell it is. So
I think, on the nights that in question, I think they were all clear, nice nights, the equivalent of a blue sky day, just a clear sky at night and light winds and all of that. So I think when most of those sightings have occurred, it has all been, clear skies and nice weather.
Sure. I mean, I'm not dispelling the fact that there's something there, but this is like ongoing.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. And how do you know these things are like the size of cars and things like that if they're all at night? Like how are you able to discern that?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it's just interesting to see where these things are flying over. I mean, they're down your way, down towards the shore area. Looks like coming in off the water. I've heard over Staten Island as well. I don't know, Rich, out on Long Island.
It's Snooky.
I haven't been looking up too much, but I'll pay a little more attention now after this weather clears up. Certainly, next couple of days we'll have some clearing, so you should be able to get a better view of.
Yeah, I don't. When the winds pick up on Thursday, let's say, and tomorrow, I don't really see too much. Yeah, it's gonna be cranking. I don't see too many car-sized drones flying around.
Now, probably Friday, Saturday into Sunday, I think it'll be a next window to kind of get a better view and get a little more curious about what's going on there. But curious in Jersey, I mean, are there specific cities or towns or areas that are seeing it more consistently, Don, that you've been hearing about?
Well, I think it started off somewhere out in Morris County. So that would be, like Morristown, maybe like more of the western sections of Morris County, parts of Roxbury. That area just south of Route 80 between 78 and 80. Some are thinking because of President-elect Trump's, Bedminster kind of summer White House is there, the golf club, that there potentially could be Secret Service maybe mapping out some things that, for when he takes office in January. Certainly viable. But again, if that's the case, why won't they just come out and say that? Like, I mean, obviously you can't say what they're doing, but just to say, hey, look, feds are on top of it. It's a whatever operation. There's no harm, whatever. It's not, ET coming in or anything, that kind of situation.
So if that's the case, right? Yeah. Like that area, that isn't Picatinny Arsenal in that area? Well,
yeah, that's true. That's another one, right? That's right off of Route 15. As soon as you get off of Route 80, that's the northern sections of Morris County. So
right. So you have that area, and there's pretty decent speculation, if not evidence, that they were flying very close to Naval Weapons Station Earl, which is right by me.
Yeah. No, it's true. So it's interesting how
concerning.
Absolutely, it's a lot concerning for national security. Over our military installations. But there's also, from being in the chopper for a short amount of time and, kind of studying for my drone pilot license, these things are technically only supposed to go 400 feet. So, and the problem is that corridor, even through Morris County up and down the turnpike is very heavily, a lot of helicopter traffic. I'm not even talking news helicopters. I'm talking, Sikorsky helicopters that are privately owned going from Trenton, Philly to Newark, to Linden over towards the west side. So, it's consistent straight through Southern Union County every morning at 7:30. That Merc chopper comes from northeast Philly, Philly. Over to Rahway. So, that's a major concern, at least I find, because you don't know where these things are flying. You don't know how high they're going to go or how low they're going to go. And it's just, if it's consistent, I got a feeling there could be a major problem. I don't know.
You got restricted areas too for drones, right? I mean, for drone policies, you can't fly them. Period.
Yeah, it's really, this section, eastern sections of Union County into Essex County. Obviously, you got Newark Airport, you got Linden, you got Teterboro, you've got Morristown, you got Caldwell, down the shore by you. You've got Farmingdale. You've got there's a lot of little airports or whatever that you're not supposed to be anywhere near. Now, again, how much that's enforced, who knows?
It seems dangerous. Small planes going through there.
Oh, absolutely.
So with all that, obviously this is one of the busiest corridors in the United States traffic wise, whether it be vehicle or aircraft or what have you. So having said that, I'm shocked that there's not better data or, visuals or better sightings of these,
I think that's going towards where I was going with my point earlier, and I just didn't make it the right way because it's 6:57 on a Wednesday. But that it's just grainy cell phone footage. It's like I can't understand how we can't.
But I'm shocked that a professional pilot hasn't seen
It's
seen something and reported it to the FAA with a great description, or maybe they have, maybe
they have, and they just aren't doing anything about it. They just they're not saying anything. I don't know. It's just and again, any of the news choppers and stuff like that, I'm sure those guys they're not going to go anywhere near it because they don't know what it is. You're not going to send it, they have a major, issue. But, I think if I was a news crew or whatever, I'd be heading out that way and maybe just, dare I say, camping out or whatever with the good cameras or whatever and to see what you can see. I don't know. I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
So I want to put this in here really. Tom says that also hovering over the dams in Spotswood and Jamesburg. So that's new. I didn't know about that.
That's not comforting either.
No, that's Middlesex County.
Right.
And Brian says, good morning from Chester. So good morning to you, Brian. We got South Amboy here. Good morning to you. Happy holidays from Kathy. So, it just depends on where these things are coming from. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
you're going to bring it up with the weather that today, probably not a day. Obviously, you're going to fly anything. No. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any reports of any sightings.
Yeah, I mean, today is what the pilots would call an IFR day, instrument rated only. So there's no visual flight rules in effect today. That's for sure.
Right. So. Kim says, good morning from Hillsboro. And Tom says, good morning from Helmetta, Sayreville raised. Very nice.
There we go.
Cool stuff. So that's kind of the drone thing. Post it up in the comments there if you happen to, maybe you've seen one. I don't know. I have not seen anything.
I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything.
County area.
Yeah.
And out by you, Rich, in Long Island, is there anything, any news reports of anything?
I haven't heard much here. No, not across Long Island. But like I said, when the weather clears, I'll be a little more curious to take a little look there, especially Friday, Saturday, into Sunday. So
sure. Yeah. I think there was a report the other day over Staten Island. So,
It was Jersey Shore reunion.
That's it. They're looking for Anna. Yeah. You son of a... I had this thing coming over my house.
Listen, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, right. Jane says, good morning, guys, from White House Station. So good morning to you. I don't know, Jane, have you seen anything out that way? Because it's also Hunterdon County. There's been some sightings there as well.
Yeah,
so
that's wild. It is wild. I mean, you can kind of literally rack your brain trying to figure out, where they're coming from, why. Really, the why, I think, is
yeah, exactly. And if they are truly, I mean, a car-sized drone. I
didn't even know that existed.
I mean, come on. I mean, Air 11 was not even the size, was basically the size of a car. So how the hell could you have a drone? I'm not to say you can't, but I've never seen anything.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Hollywood drone, I mean, they do have fairly large, propellers and stuff like that. But I mean, Air 11 had barely enough room for the three of us. I mean, it was like a Yugo with a motor. It was a great ship. It still is. They're great. Yeah. But I mean, there's just not a lot of room. It's not a big.
It's not luxurious.
Yeah, it's not a big aircraft. So I mean,
is Air 11 bigger than the shop's old chopper?
I think the old chopper is probably slightly larger. It was a different. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Air 11. Yeah, Air 11 is a Bell. It's a Bell 206 Long Ranger, and I think the old place had wasn't a Bell. It may have been an Airbus.
I don't know what it was, but I was up there once, and literally in the front seat next to the pilot.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're just sitting there. Your toes are at the end of.
The front of
the front, like the canopy,
the fuselage, yeah.
So it almost feels like your toes are hanging off the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
It's a cool ride.
It's a cool ride.
Yeah,
it's a cool ride. But
I don't know. Were you ever up in the old place with the chopper at any point?
Oh, Rich.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they never invited me. No, I wasn't. It was never that special. But I saw it. I mean, we had land for us in the back. I saw it come down many times.
Sure. Yeah.
Never really got up in the chopper, but
the
extent of my weird travel, I was actually back in Alaska this past summer. I went in the seaplane, one of those little seaplanes. They're pretty cool. Little.
Nice.
With the pilot right next, like Jane said, like the pilot right next to me, and I had the headphone, everything on, navigating. Maybe I'll bring some video up next time we're on here.
Yeah, sure. Well, let everybody know about that trip because you posted stuff on Instagram. It's kind of you deal with all your buddies or whatever,
amazing,
kind of a bucket list kind of a thing. So you went to how far up Alaska did you go?
Oh, it was Alaskan Peninsula, which is southwest of Anchorage, way up there, way up, and we were remote, out of the city, out of the main area.
Nice.
And in the wilderness, and the owner of the lodge, he's a licensed pilot, and he had his own seaplane, and three of us, it was a 4-seater there. 3 of us just went out into these remote locations, landed on the water, and never anything like that in my life. It was
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So my experience with seaplanes, I've never been in one, but I've almost gotten run over by one. So in the early years of Sea Paddle NYC, as we were paddling up the East River, at one point, this was during the week, it was a weekday, there were multiple seaplanes landing in the East River coming in from, I'm assuming, Connecticut or wherever, coming in from the north. So that's my extent, my experience with seaplanes. Yeah. So as you have a group of 50, 100 paddlers charging up the East River,
right?
Here come the seaplanes. And we were relatively close to, the shoreline. So we would we would sort of hug the shoreline and ride the current up. And the current, if you're going with the current in the East River, it rips. It's like a 4-knot current. So it's a nice little push all the way up. So we wanted to obviously enjoy that.
Sure. Yeah.
But the seaplanes needed to get in kind of tight and unload as well.
Yeah. No, they were in a seaplane. I mean, really last year was with us. I was never in a helicopter other than the first time getting an Air 11. That was the first time to fill in. So it's a great ride. And the crew over there in Linden are like some of the most amazing people in the world. Like it's just such a tight knit community. All the guys from, Channel 4, 7, 11, 2, 5, the whole deal. It's it's really cool. If I had the means or whatever to do like a documentary on that whole group, I think would be just amazing.
That would be cool. And then the flight service crew from the airport. I think Linden's still one of those only places you could hot fuel. You know, they'll basically be like, the rotors are spinning, and you got a guy out there fueling up. In
the first probably 6 months or whatever I was doing it, we hot fuel because we were going back up again, and then they cut flight time down by an hour, so we didn't have to do it. But you're right, you hit the pad and you just cues them up, and guy comes out with the thing, and you kind of just like on idle, and then boom, you're we're back up in the air. So it's
crazy.
Great. It's fantastic. I love doing it. We've got, so this is interesting here. So Jane says, we asked if she had seen anything out in White House. She said she's seen a few of these drones.
Wow.
So she also writes here saying, couldn't see how big they were because you can't tell how far away they were. So
fair point. Very fair point.
True. Right. True. Right. If you don't know the distance is how far out they are. Perspective is really what it's all about at that point.
Right.
So, good. Hopefully, you don't see any more of these things.
But if she was pretty far away, it'd be really hard to see like one of those little Mavics or DJs or whatever, one of those little drones you could buy at Costco or wherever wherever one buys a drone.
If Jane is still with us, I'm going to put it out there. Were you able to hear anything? That was my other question, because I mean, the DJIs and things like that, you hear like a buzz.
Right.
It's noticeably hear it. Now, granted, you have to be within maybe 100 feet or 200 feet. Once you get that up about 300-400 feet, you're losing all audio. Because I've had a drone up about 300, 325 or whatever, and man, that thing gets really small in the sky, and you start panicking like that thing's, you don't want that thing landing on the parkway or something. So it's a little tough. To kind of keep a visual on it up that far,
right. Right.
Now, I do know that there are some law enforcement agencies, which I will not mention, that are in this state. They're actively using drone and have a drone force for law enforcement. And
which is good. I think that's a great idea.
When you hear the stories of how this stuff works, we're in we're like sci-fi.
Right.
That it's happening now.
Right.
It's crazy how it is.
So again, that goes back to my point. If we have that and those are, our assets are already there, how is it that none of our assets, whether it be, law enforcement on the ground, law enforcement drone, police, for lack of a better term,
right?
How have they not run into, seen, or gotten any data or intel from these supposed other drones flying around? How is that possible? Especially in this state.
Yeah, I all valid points. All completely agree with. Right. The bigger concerning thing to me is that you're seeing like clusters of them. There's not just one. There's 5, 6, or 10 at a time. So I mean, look, we've all seen these shows that people do for the whatever big sporting events. They have these drone shows or whatever. They're practicing that kind of stuff. These don't seem to be that. And that's the concerning part about it is Vicky says, good morning, James. That's to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've got Jane here. She says, no, couldn't hear anything because she's not too far from Route 22. So that's a tough one there. And Shari says, good morning from Point Pleasant. Got a little break from the rain. Just time to walk my dog. Have a good day, everyone. Same thing to you, Shari. Very, very nice. All right. So we're going to spin it completely 360. Rich, you mentioned to us that you saw Gladiator 2. What?
Yeah.
I've seen Theater 1. So, maybe I'm way behind, but so what do you got with that?
Yeah. So wife's birthday, as I meant, was yesterday. We had a great time. She wanted to go to the movie. She's a big movie buff. So we decided to go see Gladiator 2. It was either between that or Wicked. And she chose Gladiator 2. Okay.
Oh, thank goodness.
Right? So I think that worked out all right. I had seen the first one. And to be honest with you, one of my favorite movies, Gladiator, the first one, Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, right? The first one.
Yeah.
And this one, I think the weird thing I get about this is that it was a long, long time for the sequel to come out. When was that? 2000, 2002, James? Gladiator, the first one?
It was a while ago, yeah.
While ago, right? Way back.
2000, I think.
Yeah, 2000. So you talk, what, 24 years to get a sequel? I was just like, oh, I got to remember everything. But, you know, I don't know how you feel about it. You know, I'm a little critical. I thought it was good. You know, I think it had its moments. And I think we say the same thing nowadays. It's just nothing like the original, but it was okay. You know, it was okay.
Was Russell Crowe still in it?
No. This was, I guess, the big star. I don't remember the other names, but Denzel Washington was one of the.
Okay. So I'm assuming Marcus Aurelius was long gone. He wasn't in this one either.
No, I think he was still long gone. Yeah, he was still gone. But you know, it's funny how the Hollywood, a lot of the movies, you know, that they recreate, that they do, they have a lot of flashbacks, but they also have a lot of references and a lot of similar kind of takes on how they produce the scenes, you know, the Coliseum scenes, the fight scenes and everything. There's a lot of kind of like, you know, similarities from what the original was. And I guess you would want to do that because it was a success, the first one. But, you know, nothing like the original, but there were some moments. There were some good moments. That's my take on that. It's good watching the movie theater. It's good with the, you know, the big screen and everything, the effects, the, you know,
good entertainment, right?
Yeah, it was good. Little gory, little graphic. It was gory. There were some gory spots, but a little weird at times. But you know, the story you had to follow. You know, pay attention to the twists and this and that. But not bad. You know, it wasn't like I fell asleep the whole time. So
right. A little more CGI, obviously, than the first one, I would imagine.
A little bit. You know what? They didn't overdo it, Don. That's a good. You know, a lot of these movies, sometimes you see, like with some of these superhero movies, there's so much. And James, you know this from all the so much. You know, you can tell is just fake. They had one scene, I guess, in Gladiator 2 where they had some sharks. You can tell. They were swimming like 100 miles an hour, which they don't do for real. But you know, but that was the only thing that looked kind of weird. Everything else looked pretty good. You know, they didn't overdo it. Nice. So you know, it was good.
I haven't been to a movie in a long time.
Yeah,
been a while.
Place. I know it's weird.
Been a while to the movies, yeah. But I have been to the theater, Spring Lake Theater, amazing place. That's it. That's right. Saw Scrooge. What a performance. If anybody is watching, I know Sherry is from Point Pleasant, so maybe she's partaked in the quality of productions at the Spring Lake Theater. Amazing production of Scrooge. I mean, the guy who portrayed Scrooge is actually a principal at an elementary school, actually in Point Pleasant. Go figure. Wow. Yeah, this guy had some. I mean, it's kind of one of those things like, dare I say, it should be on like America's Got Talent. I mean, like you just don't expect like, wow, it really comes through. It's amazing stuff. And they do just a great job as far as the production. And there must have been 70 people in this cast. It was ridiculous, but sold out once again. So this is the 40th year they've been doing it. So
is there just one show?
No, they do multiple shows in the weekend. So like total for the holiday season, I think there's like 18 or 20 shows they do.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
Oh yeah. In fact, is some of the folks that are in the production have been there 25, 30 years because they were kids in the like original production, and now they keep coming back. Yeah. So they do a real nice job. So actually, speaking of the shore, Rich, you know, you're an avid fisherman and whatnot. Is there any like winter? Do you go out during the winter if the weather is all right, or is it just too rough to get out there? The water is too cold to catch anything, or what?
No, it's doable. Yeah, you can do it when you're, you know, kind of hardcore die hard like I am. You know, you gotta be a nut. There are times when, you know, like James and I talk about all the time. You think about winter, the perception is cold, windy, snowy, brutal, stay in the house, you know, but you know, your normal days, you don't have a lot of all those strings of crazy cold, windy days, excepting some of the more extreme winters, right, James? But if you have a normal winter, you know, I mean, the normal high, think about it, you know, across central southern New Jersey and like even like late December, January is what, 45, 46 degrees.
Yeah, maybe a little lower. Like, 42, something like that. Yeah. But just following up on what Rich is going to say, you know, having surfed, you know, a few winters.
Surfer,
Winter is all about whether you're going to surf, whether you're going to fish, whatever. It's all about the wind. So if you have a 40-something degree day with almost no wind and sunshine, it's game on. You know,
that's correct.
Right. So if the wind is nuking, if it's nasty, if it's sloppy, then obviously obviously the waves would probably not be good, and then obviously Rich probably wouldn't be too inclined to
and to the point too, James, I mean, I see a lot of surfers out there, you know, obviously the wetsuit has to come on this time, the water temps start to come down, but you know, I was out yesterday, just like I mentioned, in the ocean, and you know, I was reading a water temp of about 51, you know, 50, 51 degrees. I mean, it's middle of December here. Those water temps, you know, slower to cool off than obviously the land does, and without a ton of snow, a lot of runoff here. sometimes you go into even late December with those water temps still holding in the 40s to near 50. And, it may take till January, February to get them down into the 30s to around 40. So to the question that Don asked, you can go, it's funny, you'll go out there on days when it's cold on land, and then you'll actually warm up when you get in the ocean because the water's warmer.
Yeah, you're right.
And if it's not too windy, you're right. If it's not that windy, it's really, you bundle up, you wear some jackets, you wear a sweatshirt, wear a hat like anything else. I mean, you've all been skiing before, right? I mean, it's just comfortable day. It's just I was on the water, and if it's not windy, it's a good day.
Anything with this storm, guys, as far as out by you, Rich, like maybe some potential for coastal flooding, like around Long Beach or any of that area, Bayshore, anything coming up? The winds pushing any of the water that way, or not?
Yeah, we got a storm warning up for the entire South Shore of Long Island. I think that actually does include the Jersey Shore, James. I'm not sure what that fetch coming in from the south that they're including us in there, but anytime you get a direct fetch from the south, Long Island is right in the shot of that. You're getting direct hit
perpendicular to it.
Right. You got it. So yeah, we're looking at waves. I was looking at the Weather Service wave forecast for later today, tonight. I was seeing about 10 to 15 feet, upwards of 17 feet this evening. So,
which is huge considering, this is a relatively short event. I mean, in terms of building fetch and building surf as compared to like a tropical system or a nor'easter.
Yeah.
So we don't really have that time to build fetch. So this thing ramps up so quickly. The fact that it could build surf that big is impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah. We've been seeing that a lot in the last couple of years, James and Don. Yeah. It's like we talked about in the weather forecast before. It's like, I guess like days and days of just not too much, followed by one big quick shot of crazy and insanity. It's almost like you go like shark fishing. It's like nothing. 6 hours of boredom and an hour of chaos. It's the same type of thing with this weather we're having. You let your guard down too, which is kind of a crazy thing. You forget how crazy and how quick the weather can change and how bad it can be. In Long Island, we're going to find out today and tonight, especially South Shore communities, like you said, they're going to get flooded. There's going to be some coastal flooding. There's going to be some damage. There's going to be some inundation. But it's brief. And then tomorrow we're right back to pushing the water out when it goes back to the west. So.
Right. I think the problem is, people have their Christmas decorations up, and Eastern Long Island, especially Central Long Island, Suffolk County, you're going to get 50 plus mile an hour wind gusts, maybe some power outages. So, you might have some issues. Those decorations could come down, those big inflatable,
rings.
Exactly. So that's going to be in somebody's lawn, not the right lawn.
Exactly. Well, I guess it's coming in at somewhat of a good time because all the leaves are pretty much gone from the trees. So the wind is just going to go right through wherever the branches are. So, maybe that limits some of the problems with branches coming down and whatnot. The leaves are a contributing factor to that. But here in New Jersey, around the Jersey Shore, speaking to Sherry, with actually she just jumped in again and says, Spring Lake Theater, Algonquin Theater, we have some great live theater venues around us. We certainly do. And then Jimmy says, you have a great day. All of you guys rock. So do you, Jim. So thank you so much for that. Jersey Shore, places like Belmar and Seabright or whatever, any chance of them getting a little, like 36, getting a little more water than it should?
A little bit. I think the storm really intensifies and magnifies as it's moving east of Jersey. So, as Rich will tell you, Long Island's 130 miles long or whatever it is. Yeah. So you have that end perpendicular to where the wind is blowing from. So I think that's the area that really is going to get the 50 plus mile an hour wind gusts. We sort of get spared the worst of it, whether it be in southeastern Pennsylvania or through New Jersey. But the Jersey Shore will, as you go east, I think the potential is greater for sloppier and slightly more significant weather, at least in the Garden State.
If Rich, maybe could we bring up the maps? We got about 9 minutes left. We want to hit it right before 7:30 because a bunch of us have to go to work. So, if I don't know if you can bring up those maps again, we'll kind of just time out everything again for everyone who kind of tuned in a little bit later.
Can you see it yet, or do I need to share?
Wait a minute, Rich. Hold on. I got it. Let me just put it in the show.
Yeah.
There we go. So kind of let's just time it out here the next 24 or 36 hours.
Sure. All right, you got it. So we talked about the atmospheric river. Big term today, big term. All right, atmospheric river. And you can kind of see how it is, James. See, it extends all the way from the Gulf of Mexico. Look at that, all the way up the Appalachians up through the Mid-Atlantic states, a big, swath of red. That's an atmospheric river, and we're right in the edge of the river here, the end of it here. We're getting the punch, the big, punch right in our gut right here. And, the future radar, late this morning, midday, we've still got these bands. This is going to be kind of like a squally deal where, it may not be raining right now, but then wait 5-10 minutes and boom, you get a big downpour comes through your neighborhood, the Turnpike, the Garden State Parkway, the Palisades, wherever you may be. And then you see how they pop up there about midday, lunchtime. There's a good shot coming in there, looks like around the Philly area. Getting into the Trenton area up towards Robbinsville and getting, towards the New Brunswick, Sayreville. It's going to be, just one of these deals where these just like pop out of nowhere. Like we talked about, fast paced, quick changing weather. And then, of course, the waves, the lines begin to, kind of go west to east. Long Island gets into it, Connecticut. I mean, everybody's getting this. It's not just New Jersey. You got Connecticut, you got New England, you got Massachusetts. It's a big area.
Look at the line starting to take shape at 4 o'clock.
And
then watch it magnify and get stronger as it's moving over Long Island by 7.
Yeah, if it's any good news for New Jersey, it looks like by the time that thing really begins to blossom and blow up, into this massive, like almost like a late spring squall line or severe thunderstorm line, I think it's out in the ocean. If that's the case, that's good. We're not going to, we don't want a lot of damage here. We don't want a lot of major headaches. The rain is good for the drought. The rain is good. We need it, but not too much too quickly to get the flooding. And that looks like it's going to be the case. And then, this evening.
I was going to jump in, guys, real quick. So that 7 o'clock thing, I guess you could leave that one up there with that blue, I guess, that I mentioned yesterday. I mean, that, northwest corner of New Jersey, like Montague or Milford or,
Yeah.
No, that light snow doesn't make it in. Not tonight.
It's not much. That's a little back edge snow, the Poconos. They may get like a sugar coating to an inch. This is when you get on the back edge, the left side of these storms with the big front coming through, it's so quick. It's like, the ground hasn't gotten cold yet. You may get a little burst where you get a sugar coating, but that's not it. Yeah.
Now, what about wind as far as this event? What are we looking at?
Oh yeah, the winds today, with the wind advisory up for the coastal sections, you're talking probably, James, probably like gusts to like 40, 45, maybe 50 on the coast, something like that.
Yeah, I think here in Jersey, I think I think you're going to see a high wind warning come up for Eastern Long Island, and I don't know about Nassau County, maybe not as much, but
that's up for them.
Yeah. So in Jersey, I would be surprised if we got anything over 45. Just because of the timing, maybe in Monmouth, maybe in Ocean, Eastern Monmouth, Eastern Ocean. Again, the further east you go, I think the chances are greater to kind of funnel that wind in, especially with the dynamics of the front. And
if I'm standing on the boardwalk in Spring Lake or Point Pleasant, if I'm inclined to do so, the wind is going to be coming from where? Off the water or
south? Hard south, right from this direction south. Yeah, right from Ocean City, Atlantic
Blow
City.
towards south winds.
Yeah, and that's why Long Island is in the high wind warning. Right. There's nothing to block it. They're just right in the gut punch here, the perpendicular shot of that south wind coming in here. That's why they're in the worst place to be.
Yeah, I didn't notice initially Nassau was in the high wind warning. So
Nassau storm warning up for the coastal waters. That's why we have 17-foot waves coming in. It's just that trajectory. New Jersey is more prone, James, as we know from Sandy, a direct hard east southeast coming in this direction, and that's the gut punch for New Jersey, for the Jersey Shore. And not in this case. Fortunately, it's for New Jersey, it's not it's a side swipe for New Jersey.
Yeah. But ironically, it almost seems a little counterintuitive. But for the Jersey Shore, for Jersey Shore surfers, those south swells do really, really well at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Those big south swells. So.
I'll throw this out there in the last 2 or 3 minutes that we have. I mean, we've all worked honestly for the old place in Connecticut. And sometimes I feel like that gets a little left out, like that South Shore of Connecticut, Stamford, Greenwich, that whole area. Is that going to get like, because sometimes you'll hear reports out of Bridgeport, whatever. Also, they've got like feet of water, and it's like, well, where the hell did this come from? People don't realize how close they are to Long Island Sound.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're in it too. Yeah, sure. They're in the high wind warning, and they've got the potential for 2-3 inches of rain, heavy downpours. You can clearly see right here. You've still got the some of the rainfall rates are going to be pretty big here. See the reds in there. I mean, anytime you get this situation where you've got fast moving, pockets of very, very heavy, quick moving rain, it could flood. I think the flash flood issue, James, we talk about is the big deal, but also the gusty winds and damage, like we said,
right?
Coming down. It's just fast.
Yeah, it's fast, it's progressive, it's a pretty hard hit. The question is, does it hit hard enough to warrant or even spark up a stronger, potentially severe storm? Probably not, but I think some rumbles of thunder, some drenching rains, and then of course, the potential for flash flooding. Thankfully, streams, creeks, rivers are all low due to the drought. So those flashiest, Rancocas Creek, Blackwell's Mills Causeway here in Jersey, those areas, they'll be fine. So we could certainly, tolerate a lot more than this. So in that sense, we're good. But I think the urban runoff is, and the street flooding would be more problematic.
Right. And I think there could be some power outages too. Sometimes you get things blowing around and flicker and some of the transformers go. You want to be aware of that. I mean, fortunately, like I said, we're not going into a situation where it gets crazy, ridiculously cold or very bad or snowy or icy. But, nonetheless, though, power outage is a power outage, and dealing with it's kind of a pain. So just, be on your best. If you got a generator, be ready. Always be prepared. It's a good idea.
Yeah, no, it's a great advice, Rich. Charge up those cell phones. A lot of, I actually have a couple of those little portable chargers or what, the battery, whatever they call it, portable packs or whatever. You keep those charged up just to keep your phone going in case you got to be in contact or whatever. Don't worry about the fridge or any of that kind of stuff. But all right, so that's 7 p.m. tonight, still kind of coming down. When does this kind of all wrap up?
I'm figuring after about like dinner time, 8, 9, 10 p.m. And they got some light stuff still here across New Jersey. The snow, forget it. That's going to be way upstate. And if anything, just the sugar coating. The main, look at that line, James. Wow, that's crazy for December. Popping out towards the East End, Block Island, east of there, towards Providence and the Cape. Massachusetts, they'll get clocked pretty good here.
Yeah.
Cape Cod, they'll get some shots there.
How'd you like to come back from the canyon, driving through, boating through that thing?
I know guys have done it. It's not fun. Oof. Yeah, so I know, crazy, but good shot of rain to help the drought a little bit. But we need more. We need soaking days. You need those days when you get like a good, solid inch and a half of soaking steady rain. This may not help completely. We'll see what the update does tomorrow. But
I think we're going to tick back the areas. Some of the areas in red at least. So we'll chip away at the extreme drought. But everybody else is probably going to hold steady where they are.
Yeah. And then we dry out, like we said, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, look up, see if you see some drones, it'll be a little cold, but nothing crazy, not the crazy cold shots. You're not talking days where your face is freezing, where everything ices up. This is just like seasonably chilly. I mean, maybe at high of 40, which we can all, if it's above freezing, I mean, I think it can take it. It's not crazy windy except for Thursday. And then looks like good holiday shopping travel weather for Friday and Saturday and probably going into Sunday. So it's good.
Cool. Nice. Very good. All right, Rich, want to bring us all back? I got a couple more comments, and I think we're going to head off into the sunset here for today. James says, thank you for all you do. Rich, Jimmy G, this is for you. Been a wet and windy.
Hey, this is my man, Rich. We talked about Bonnick. We got to, I don't know, do we need to clue RVO in on Bonnick? You know what the Bonnick is short for? East Hampton. So that's, I'm a graduate of East Hampton High School. So we used to, East Hampton was the Bonnickers. So a lot of people, they think, the Hampton. I can go into a long diatribe, but I'm not. But anyway, so Rich is a buddy of mine from high school. So, from East Hampton. So we often refer to our old high school as Bonnick Tech. So East Hampton is the Bonnickers. Southampton are the Mariners. So,
got it.
Got it. So there we go.
Hey, East End history. There we go. We're going to get kind of shellacked later today. Kathy says, have a great day, guys. Well, I think that's a good way to kind of end it. Rich, thanks a lot for joining us. I'm glad we were able to work out the technical bugs.
Yeah.
So great stuff with the maps. You got an open invitation, Rich, to come on whenever you want. Join us at any time. Again, good having you. Good to see you as always, and love the traffic and weather hat. Traffic and weather.
Yes, it's a classic. Yeah, forever and they last forever too. It's amazing.
I think I still have the gloves and everything and the scarf that we got going here in a box. I don't think I've ever taken them out. Like I'm thinking there's some sort of collector's item at a garage sale. I don't know, but but maybe you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, that's it. All right, Rich. Well, thanks a lot so much for joining us. Can't even talk straight because it's time for the gym. So, Rich, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys.
All right, Rich.
So good show there, G. Nice stuff. It was good to see Rich and good information. So Donna says, let's see here. Good morning. Best way to wake up seeing you guys. Well, thanks a lot, Donna. I think it's a good way to roll us off here. I gotta get the music. Where's the music? God damn it. Let's see. There it is.
There it is.
There it is. All right.
The Yellowstone special.
That's it. All right. Remember to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Trying to get to 800. Maybe if we can get 800, we'll put you on the air. I don't know. We'll do something.
There you go. You'll get a commemorative.
Exactly right.
New Jersey pin.
That's right. So like, subscribe, and again, thanks a lot for joining us. And again, hit the subscribe thing, the bell thing, and let you know when we're going to come back on again. So have a good morning, New Jersey. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.